Breaking Free from the Social Media Trap: How Newsletters Can Save Nudism from Censorship and Disconnection and Help Our Movement Reclaim Its Voice, by Evan Nix. In January 2023, Meta's oversight board overturned the company's decision to remove posts depicting transgender and non-binary individuals with covered chests, calling attention to the platform's biased nudity policies. The board highlighted how these rules disproportionately affect women, transgender, and non-binary people, creating barriers to expression under the guise of content moderation. While the posts in question were reinstated, the case underscored a systemic problem: policies that arbitrarily censor marginalized groups, including nudists and naturists. Across platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter, body-positive content and naturist messaging are routinely flagged, removed, or buried in algorithms with elusive shadow bans. This erasure throttles outreach, undermines community building, and alienates organizations dedicated to promoting body freedom. At the same time, these platforms have transformed into powerful tools for far-right propaganda, leaving progressive movements, including nudism, outpaced and under siege. It's time for nudist organizations to stop relying on these platforms to build their movements. The solution lies not in algorithms, but in the foundational tool of the nudist movement, the newsletter. By reclaiming this timeless and effective medium, nudists can regain control of their messaging, strengthen their communities, and preserve the values of body freedom and expression. The social media mirage. Social media once promised to democratize communication, offering organizations and individuals an unparalleled opportunity to reach global audiences. But today, it's clear that these platforms operate on a different agenda, one shaped by profit, manipulation, and, increasingly, political control and the spread of extremist ideology. For nudist organizations, these shifts have been disastrous. Long-standing organizations like the American Association for Nude Recreation, AANR, have felt the full weight of these barriers. As a nonprofit advocacy group with a history spanning more than 90 years, AANR relies on its ability to depict simple, tasteful, non-sexual nudity in its marketing, or at least evoke the concept of body freedom. Yet, even the most conservative or abstract depictions frequently trigger algorithmic censorship. Strict content moderation policies on platforms like Instagram mean that even educational or body-positive posts are often flagged, removed, or buried by shadow bans. Accounts face frequent suspension, which erodes trust and disrupts their ability to engage with their communities. Even when they don't risk unexplained suspensions, legitimate organizations often fail to qualify for verified status, a designation that most nonprofits of similar stature and longevity can obtain with ease. These challenges are compounded on top of a fundamental issue. Organizations don't truly own the networks they build on social media. Years of cultivating followers can be undone in an instant if an account is suspended or banned, often without explanation or recourse. Rebuilding those connections can take years, if it's possible at all. The cumulative result is a profound loss of credibility and visibility. These tactics effectively delegitimize organizations like AANR in the eyes of the broader public, undermining their ability to attract new members and sustain their advocacy efforts. For organizations that rely on public engagement to survive, social media has become a precarious and unreliable tool. Instead of providing a platform for growth, it has turned into a minefield of restrictions and risks, underscoring the urgent need for alternative approaches that are more sustainable and resilient. A return to newsletters. Before social media, newsletters were the lifeblood of nudist organizations, essential for spreading ideas, organizing events, and fostering community. Early publications like The Nudist, later Sunshine and Health, Health and Efficiency in the UK, and newsletters from American nudist clubs served as the organs of their movements, a term that aptly conveyed their vital role in organizing. Newsletters offered something social media never can: autonomy. They weren't subject to algorithms, corporate censorship, or fleeting trends. Instead, they provided direct, trusted lines of communication that allowed groups to grow, educate members, and organize coalitions. This model remains as relevant today as it was decades ago. A well-crafted newsletter allows organizations to control their message, build meaningful relationships with their audience, and mobilize their communities in ways social media cannot. Delivered directly to engaged readers who opt in, newsletters foster a level of intimacy and trust that platforms can't replicate. Modern newsletters can also integrate multimedia, linking to blog posts, podcasts, or videos, making them a dynamic hub for engagement. While social media can help draw attention to a newsletter, the real power lies in owning your email list. A direct connection to your audience that isn't at the mercy of shifting algorithms or content moderation policies. Social media is undoubtedly a valuable tool for reaching wider audiences, but it cannot be the foundation of your communication strategy. Instead, it should act as a gateway, guiding people to your newsletter, a space where your message remains fully under your control. Why newsletters must lead the way. The allure of social media has led countless organizations to rely on platforms they don't control. For over a decade, marketing professionals have insisted, you have to be here to reach people, pushing groups to pour resources into building followers instead of sustainable infrastructure. But what has this achieved? A presence on platforms with shifting terms, fragmented audiences, and algorithms that can render years of effort irrelevant. When organizations depend on social media, they gamble their futures. Accounts can be suspended or shadow banned without warning, cutting off access to cultivated audiences. Even when posts reach followers, they're often lost in the noise of viral trends and clickbait. Newsletters, by contrast, offer stability, ownership, and permanence. A well-maintained email list is an asset no algorithm can take away. A direct personal connection to an audience that actively chooses to hear from you. Social media can amplify your message, but it should be treated as a tool, not the foundation of your communication strategy. To thrive in this era, organizations must reinvest in direct communication. Newsletters allow for authentic engagement, meaningful relationships, and the preservation of values that aren't subject to corporate control. It's time to focus on tools that build trust, sustain engagement, and create real community. The nudist movement was built on the humble newsletter. It should make sense that its future depends on it.
We hope you're enjoying Planet Nude. If so, please consider a paid subscription. Your membership comes with exclusive content and supports our work. Subscribe at www.planetnude.co. This episode of Planet Nude podcast is sponsored by the Naturist Education Foundation, supporting naturist initiatives and preserving naturist history. Learn more at www.naturisteducation.org.